Hi there, everybody. This is a note on Mercury retrograde. Now, your individual snapshot reports, which everybody loves, those short 2 to 3 to 4 minute reports, are now available over on my Star Daily membership subscription. For a small fee every month, you get the weekly videos, the daily horoscopes, and the monthly. Now, let's have a look at Mercury. I do have a full article I'm going through on the site, jenniferangel.com. Going through the actual star sign, the sun signs, but I just wanted to do like an explanation of Mercury. So, it's a magical mayhem. Well, it's both. And, so if you go over and have a look at the article, then it'll show you how to combat it for your sign. But, Mercury is the planet of communication. It's known as the thinking planet of intellect, and it can affect how you think, communicate, relate with others. So it's known as the celestial messenger of the gods, and as a rule, it will go retrograde about 3 times a year for around 3 weeks each time, and indeed can cause all sorts of magic and mayhem. Okay, so but a Mercury retrograde is not all bad news. There are certain ways where you can use the transit to your advantage. Like everything, there's a plus and a minus, a positive and negative, a yin and a yang. And Mercury is the planet of communication and commerce. It also has a strong influence on all forms of travel, communication, creativity, education, and business, as well as technical correspondence and equipment. All right. So there are like various different transits or phases in the Mercury transit. So first of all, we have the storm. This is the most disruptive transit stage. It's the period just either side when Mercury either goes into retrograde or it's Mercury direct coming out of retrograde. It's a 3 or so days either side. Some astrologers even say up to 8 days. For me, I always find the 2 or 3 days the most disruptive when it's entering or coming out of the transit. You want to be careful during that time of what you do, careful not to overlook things, and I don't like to make any major decisions in a Mercury retrograde, particularly in this time. Then the transit itself, when Mercury settles into the retrograde transit, this can be a really positive time to get things done, completed, great for planning, research. Then we have what's called the shadow. There are 2 shadow phases of the retrograde transit. The first shadow is before Mercury enters retrograde, the retrograde dates, and it refers to the degree that Mercury goes back to in its retrograde transit. Okay, so that first shadow starts on that degree when it goes back. This is generally a couple of weeks beforehand. Often you can feel, depending on how strong and what else is happening in the chart, often I can feel the exact day that it actually goes in. Things start to get a little or a lot haywire. Okay, now the second shadow transit is after Mercury comes out of the retrograde transit. It takes to get back to the degree of when it first entered the transit. Okay, so always when it's like separating out rather than applying coming in, it's a lot softer. So personally, I don't feel it as much when it's separating out. But all being said, well, what I like to focus on is the actual Mercury retrograde transit dates. Otherwise, it can just get a little sort of out of hand. Okay, so when I talk about Mercury retrograde, I'm really talking about the actual dates. Okay, so let's have a look at the magic and the mayhem. Let's start with the mayhem. During a retrograde period, all sorts of confusion and uncertainty can happen. It's wise to double check just about everything, all the fine print before you submit a file. If you're on an email, open it up, make sure the right file's on there. Once it's sent, it's too late. If it's got your name on it, then don't be in too much of a hurry to push things through. You want to double check it. If possible, delay signing any official documents until after Mercury comes out of retrograde and after it's past that couple of days on the either side, which is that storm period. Of course, life doesn't always wait for Mercury to come out of retrograde. Okay, so if you need to go ahead of something, then by all means, don't miss an opportunity. Just be more cautious about it. Perhaps, be mindful. You want to be mindful of checking any arrangements, particularly travel arrangements. Not that there's much traveling happening in the world right now, but, even just getting together with someone. And be careful of the way that you reach out and communicate with others. Pay attention to all the small things, okay? Even like a text can be taken the wrong way during this time, or at any time for that matter. So, mistakes and errors can be made easily on electronic communications. So whether it's, text, chat groups, email, you want to be mindful of a Mercury retrograde, prepare for interruptions, and how to best move forward and just be more cautious with your communication particularly. Once a Mercury does settle into its retrograde transit, once it gets past that storm part of the transit, then it can be a really positive time to get organized, to plan, to research, finalize anything that's important, get that pile of work completed that's continually falls to the bottom of your to-do list. Have a great clean out. It's a great time to review and reset your goals, close off anything that's been on your mind and niggling you. You want to get ready, you want to release, close off, and get ready to open up with what comes next. Clear the slate. It's a great time to do that. You rearrange your goals. You want to make sure you're heading in the direction of your soul purpose, your inner heart, what you feel inspired to do, issues. Perfect time to consolidate business rather than start new associations or project. Fabulous time just for planning. You can reassess and fine-tune your personal and professional business dealings during this time. So, once it settles in, it's really a great time to do all this. The present dates of this Mercury retrograde was October the 13th, and it's going to come out November the 3rd. Now, some of you may know that November the 3rd is actually the USA election date, so yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting. All right, so thanks so much for watching. Remember, your sun sign, your star sign, weekly videos are combined with the daily horoscopes and monthly horoscopes on the star membership program. There is a small monthly fee for that. You can go along, have a look at that on jenniferangel.com, and also go into the article section, the features section, and I'll, I have a magic and mayhem for each of the signs in the article. Okay. All right. So love, luck, and blessings to you. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you over with the Star Daily membership. And also that gives you access to the Soul Club, which is a great community I'm building to just talk about anything soul, cosmic based. All right. Okay. Bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon.